good evening, good morning, good afternoon. I hope you're in 4 or 5 people. But then, like I said, then other people they don't even have to say or show who they are. Is that like, all right, I might have to get a hat because of the hair growing out. It's not really doing the standing on end thing, but it certainly is nicer in person. So I have read this one other time, or I may have not got through it. I'm going to try to get through it if the recording space lets me. I was just reading something on the back here. It says Masoretic text, traditional Hebrew. I was writing something down. So now this was through the blog talk radio I had very briefly prior to 2015, prior to the major Zappa traps at U of M and the cartel with she's half retarded, old friend. She had a lot of situations, and I never knew if it was definitely a mess, beyond normal. Date rape drugs were involved with her since she'd already had a prayer. Okay, long story short is I had done some healing stuff with people, and I was trying to get my, just something going with God, but I was still rather neutral, and I was in some realms maybe I shouldn't have been, like some medium work, but I would not conjure. I would never conjure for people, and I even had a nun and stuff come. I think they were just snooping in town where I had an office, because actually it was after the nuns that my stuff really went haywire, and in contact with an older friend, but not really a friend, and some attorneys just briefly at a lunch, and then stuff just went like right down the toilet. Excessive stalking, right up in the driveway. We were in a double wide park. If anyone knows what that is, it is a trailer park, but it was mostly the bigger ones. A lot more retired people and a lot more like Nazi rules. So you weren't going to be seeing like tarps or not hanging around. You weren't going to see much shabby. For instance, I had gotten a letter because we had just moved in. I think it was the first year, and I hadn't painted the trim around the door on the shed, and it was like a faded wood, and the trim was about that, a little thinner than that. And there was a bunch more to do there just outside of that. So, why is she going into all this? Because I wrote this somewhere between that time frame, but this would have been after. So, or I had wrote it prior, but this is when I printed it, because I'm still trying to get any kind of sentence structure back, and it's still a mess because I'm only using a small device. My laptop got severely fried. It was coded in a strange way. All my books, I have told these stories before. I'm trying to say this was a blog talk radio. It may even be able to still find it. I don't know if I could. And it was titled something under the power to the people, something like that. Written by Firemouth Spirit Warrior. That was one word. I think that was one of my pen names to try to get just anything out on any kind of social media platform. Now, I've tried to get through this before, but it gets too long, and I don't like it. I don't know. It's fine. Shoot. If you like chapstick or you need chapstick, I tend to have trouble with that, where any kind of weather change or out in the wind. It's a nervous thing too. So and then I'm chapped. So this one's fun. I think this was one of Bert's newer ones. This is honestly my favorite. Pink grapefruit. It's very pleasant. My crying plea for America. When I first decided to write this pamphlet, and my editor wouldn't publish this small pamphlet, I didn't understand that. I do honestly think he was told to, or informed or threatened to suppress all my works through the county authorities. He'll never tell me. I think that's why he doesn't charge me very much to keep them up, because they're not really available. You're not gonna find them, and that's okay. We won't need to get in my books right now. When I first decided to write this pamphlet, someone suggested I interview other Americans and get their take on how they feel about these subjects to do with my crying plea for America. But then I guess I would be changing the name to Our Crying Plea for America. Wow, that has a much more powerful ring to it, does it not? I keep hearing of many leaving America because maybe we have to be prepared for it to get that bad. And it has. Because if this, I believe, would have been wrote 1 or 2 years prior, or this may have been it, somewhere in between the Zappa traps. Leaving. I sit and pray and wish and hope, and it seems that deep down I really am a diehard American. This is my home. I want it to be a home for my son. He wants to stay and he likes America. This is our home. This is why we. This is where we live, by choice. However, what do we do as things do not really get better but worse for some? What do we do when people have given up hope in America and they leave America? What do those of us that do not have a choice but to stay and endure what may get worse and worse quicker? Then we take a look at what is being shoved down our throat daily just through advertisements and media, or the fast rate of pollution, or this book is my crying plea for America. How easy would it be for another American to get mad if I asked them to look at this and see that what they feel about these subjects? There's a good chance. This might get a good camera one day. I have the recording one right out there. But would I have to download over to something else? But there's a good chance that we will not even come close to having the same beliefs. Another American to get mad if I ask them to look at this and see what they feel about these subjects. How easy would it be? Okay. There's a good chance that we will not even come close to having the same beliefs. Therefore, that is America. Good, fine, and true independent freedom. Is that what is going on still in America? Good, fine, and true independent freedom? Is Obamacare called freedom care? No. Is NSA spying called freedom watching? No. Is police states and deals made in courts of laws called freedom fighting? No. I want my independent freedom back now. What? I want my independent freedom back now. Do not you? I want to walk out my front door and feel proud to hang an American flag that really represents the home of the free and the brave. How are we free anymore? Because you can watch what you want when you want. There is X-rated, R-rated, triple X-rated, and more. So you can dumb your mind down. I hate when I'm stumbling. So I'm trying to go too fast because it's longer than I thought, and I never get through it, and it's in a shutdown, and I just don't want to hear myself reading it. So you can dumb your mind down and die in a sort of type of holocaust of chemtrails, vaccines, pesticides, herbicides, hormone-laced foods, poison at best, mercury overdoses, water too bad to drink. My children are sick. Why am I sick? The government is poisoning us. Stand up for what you believe in. Either leave the country to save yourself or stand up for what you believe in. What has happened to American society that we allow too much influence by the entertainment industry and media also? Every time we allow ourselves to feed into this multi-trillion-dollar industry, we are being a part of what was wrong with American society. We are part of went wrong with American society. This does not mean we should not be able to enjoy movies and shows. It just means, where do we place these movie and television stars that splash that screen? The grocery aisle and the billboards. It does not seem we really have choice in the matter, but to have it in our face constantly is not a freedom of choice. My crying plea for America is that the rich movie stars who live in their huge mansions, we get together and write a check and solve the hunger in America. When you know people moving out of the country that were born and raised in America know something is wrong. If you live in one of the communities where you see many empty houses and are many houses for sale, we have failed as a society by our government. I do not understand how any country could let it get this bad for its majority of people when so many people have lost jobs, homes, and families over the economic crisis in many parts of the country. But most people just keep trucking on, and many may never share their hardships with anyone because of the humiliation that comes along with losing a job, a home, or family over these things. Where did all the jobs go? Where was the promise that almost every generation was given of only a few were able to snag onto? People are not useless and nothing. We are something and we can work. when we are told to go work anywhere we can, and it costs more to work because we have to put children in daycare to go work, or just simply have a car insured and put gas into it to get to work, the person will have barely made ends meet if it is not well over minimum wage. This does not mean hand people work, but at least offer them work after you yank a good portion of makeable goods out of the country, meaning makeable, take away people's ability to work if they're in a crafts field or something, manufacturing, or makeable, markable, and made goods by the hands of people in any particular state. Would this have not been a great time to integrate renewable energy? I mean, integrate, not take over. Jobs to people who say you pulled many automotive industries out of Michigan. Obviously, we need to do something because we did pollute most of Michigan in one capacity or another. What about the farmers and what has really badly been happening? See, this is why I was still my words from when they zapped me. I still had this tendency. It's almost like a dyslexia, a slate form. What about the farmers and what has really been happening to them, badly happening to them since the 80s and sooner? I don't think this was never I just did it quick. The cost of items to produce the stress put upon many farmers to go corporate. The yields to be demanded are not paid for well. Farmers then being forced to sell their farmland little by little by little. Where was the protection for the farmers? Never was there protection for the farmers, and to this day many struggle because of what has been allowed to go on repeatedly to them as a group of workers. How could any good government that cares about good food production for its people let this happen to farmers all over America? My heart cries out to what happened to all the farmers through the generations in this country. How their lands, for some, were virtually shredded from them. The pride in a once thriving industry, farming. So, do we just throw everyone out of their houses in Michigan and other states because all the work was taken and no one can find decent work, and then you just put them on unemployment or disability? No, industrialization was not the answer to help keep Michigan beautiful, but just yanking all work from under people's noses is another issue, with nothing to fall back on or switch over to environmental energy to sustain the state or some other form of manufacturing that is less stress on the environment. No, that is not what happened, and many people had to leave the state of Michigan between the years of 2005 and now, but now they're flooding back for marijuana and stuff. But I guess many, and I mean many, are into copious amounts of oil here in good old Michigan that run our state. Those that run the state must want to be the only people who are capable of staying in the state of Michigan. Now, I'm not saying now. There has been some people integrated back in to some degree, but it's still a lot of it's blocked and a lot of red tape. We cannot sustain, and like my voice is literally echoing off a pan or something over here and it's driving me nuts. It's ding, ding. All right. See, it gets silly. Ding, ding. That's not over there. Ding. Oh my God. And you won't hear it on there. I do. It's like, ding. I was like on a roll too. It's 13 minutes. I never got through it the other times either. I don't think. It's too long. God. Well, we're way down here, honey. We cannot sustain as a country at the rate we're going. Any government that perpetuates poverty perpetuates criminality and victimization within society upon people by institutions of sorts. We have failed as a people by our government. How many times have you heard promises by politicians that there would be an end to war, an end to the lack of work for citizens of America? I have witnessed firsthand the majority of modern day attorneys have sold their soul on a conscious level or not to the local and national court systems just to make a buck and do the dance with the laws upon laws that no one can even get help, true help. If a victim of circumstance, what is that? Well, unless they have endless flows of money, I guess you can do just about anything. Wow, I bet Abraham Lincoln in earlier, which I found out stuff about him I didn't know. So let's just forget about that part for the moment, because I learned stuff since this long ago. Because 2015 is over 10 years, you know? You got kids. Wow, I bet Abraham Lincoln and earlier true attorneys would be so proud as they see the state of functioning within the judicial systems. Bargain here, bargain there. Who will bend over next and take it in the dot dot dot. Oh yes, you can totally get off on heinous acts of most crimes if you can pay out your blankety blank blank. That is not meant to offend. I will delete this later, just sharing my true feelings. Yeah, I was professional speaking mostly back then. But then this free speech thing, I had no idea it was even rambling around so loud this long. Since this and before. Oh, where was she? I don't know. All right. I was rollerblading with Pella in my husky lab to keep her burnt out a bit because she was bounced off walls and just trying to focus in on what God wanted and doing my own little stuff with calling stuff in. I'm unawares of some things. But instead, it is exactly the opposite. Over 20 years, it's been the worst, and people are moving out of America on a regular basis, while we are being flooded by Southern country immigrants. This is fine by all rights. I feel that all should be able to move wherever they damn well please in the world without a whole bunch of fanfare. But when you have been humiliated by trying repeatedly to integrate back into American society, American workforce, or just life to only find out it's getting worse, I suppose another country looks appealing. Rather quickly at this point in 2015, when you're penalized for not having health insurance, there is a serious problem with any particular political infrastructure within any modern country. America is modern, correct? So why do we try to justify what goes on here, which is crooked government and crooked business, by the justification of comparing it to a third world country to those who refute the modern political agenda? Political agenda? Like it was supposed to be as a question. To those who refute the modern political agenda, this is ludicrous to compare a third world country to America. You just have to look at the timer. But what we do need to see is the truth. The truth is that our country is going under a form of tyrannical rule in a modern way. We have spy devices that have already been seen and talked about, tapping of phones and computers that people own, tracking devices on streets, cars, and cell phones. What is next? A soldier permanently standing in our living room? Okay, we are advanced and modern, but way behind in renewable usage. Do you know why? It is not because it does not work, or that we are worried about wind turbines killing migrating birds. Who do not fly into wind turbines very often, if at all, in the whole scheme of things. It is a matter of sorting through lying political agendas. There is always photovoltaic if you are worried about the birds. But if you're all of a sudden worried about birds flying into wind turbines, you might want to recap on the oil spills across the world and what they killed in the animal kingdom. Do not even get me started on animal habitats that are still constantly raped by industrialization at an alarming rate. But while thousands of families who run the world and own oil and other natural resources have groups that bitch and complain about the downfall of renewable energy because all the money is in oil and natural resources, yes, wind, water, solar energy is a huge threat then. We have systematically allowed the rich people to conquer and rule the world and keep. To rule the world and keep. I had no idea until I was in and out of the church. A word is missing there. Oh, good. I had no idea. You're getting good now. This is like really revving up. Or I revved up. That's maybe why I didn't finish it before. This is probably going to get a little more intense. Okay. Oh, that's going to be shocking. We're not used to that when you come on here. Okay. I had no idea until I was in and out of the church for many years that many Christians are in this natural resources. Maybe they have funds, stocks, or bonds in these resources. I do know this. If we do not change as a country and our church, for that matter, very quickly, to adapt to the use of renewable energy and make it easier for consumers to attain renewable energy sources, this will be one of the major reasons we perish as a modern society. How embarrassing. We would rather be gas-guzzling and ravaging oil-consuming citizens guided by the government, all at the hands of the government, who are paid copious amounts to our leaders. Amounts to be our leaders. Have you ever tried to communicate with one of your leaders in the government? Ha ha ha. Meaning like when you make a call? Yeah, how often do you get through? Hopefully a little better now, but I don't know. They sit up in their offices and you can try and call the government, wait on the phone, and be told to write a letter of your concerns to your officials. How long does it take for the letter to hit the shredder? While he or she gets ready. I said shredder, letter to the shredder. Ooh, that would be like a good rap song almost. Letter to the shredder, letter to the shredder. Okay. Well, here, messenger to the... While he or she gets ready from their government office to make a trip to the Caribbean, while we are all still here in America, breathing out our industrial polluted air, and eating food from our industrial poisoned land and water. Give me some more gas. Give me some more oil. Give me some more coal. Then be told by your doctor who just got back from the Caribbean, that you were sick because of how badly you take care of yourself. Ha ha ha. That may be 50% truth, in my opinion. The human body, if given fresh, clean air, food, water, earth, can fight through virtually anything and rise above almost any illness. But we have systematically allowed the pollution because we really fell for the getting somewhere faster route. Making things faster route, getting things we want faster route. So here we are, sick, controlled by political agenda, and do not even know it, and hate people that are not ungrateful. And hate people that are so ungrateful, like myself, for all the millions of modern luxuries in America. Those supposed luxuries are going to kill us in the end. People are not leaving because they seek more advancement in luxuries, but just the simplicity of living that some of us may never know if we can continue to support and not stand up for what we believe in America. We can be hurting and down and still stand up for what we believe in. Just because you may have to be on assistance does not mean your voice is null and void. We do not deserve to live lowly. If it could have been prevented by alternative political agendas and different treatment, feels like I'm going to bust a vessel again, the less advantaged. Forgot how I went on in here. And put in different treatment to the less advantaged. Many political figures have property in other countries. Everything we are ever told is generally a lie. Then we watch some television to be lied to some more. That is why people are leaving this country, and many of them were born and raised in America. Crime? Why is there so much crime? Well, when a society is not taken care of properly, people get desperate. They become bitter and they believe in nothing good or right anymore. Crime is also perpetuated by bad government. When your own government makes deals with 1,000-year-old cartels to perpetuate crime, drugs, violence, and use of people for sex slavery on the underground, every 2 minutes a woman or child is grabbed worldwide for the enslavement of sex slavery. There is a huge problem. And did you know that is old? That's an old stat. It's probably worse now. When this is not at the forefront of society to solve this problem, you know your government is crooked. When more people are not concerned with this problem within society, you should feel frightful. There's a huge brick wall here. We've tried to hear one another if we needed to. You can't. You can't. I have to try to be heard here. And sometimes I do. Christmas, people got a little bit of a Christmas carol. Not much. It only went on a little bit. It was very early. It seemed a little boring in here, quite frankly. I was wondering if everyone's still here. Okay, so they became bitter. Okay, crime. And it's going to shut, isn't it? We're almost done. Oh my gosh, is she almost done? No, I guess not. I'm not almost done. Crime. Okay, cartels. When there is not at the forefront of society to solve as a problem, when this is not at the forefront, you know your government is crooked. When more people are not concerned with this problem within society, meaning not, you should feel frightful because it is right under your nose. The routes of the cartel cut right through your own country, and it's done in hotels and visible locales. Are you aware? Do you even care? When a judicial system punishes victims of crime and punishes them with making false police reports or false victims reports, you should not trust your government around your sons and daughters. If their truth is not heard, whose will be? I may not seem I love my country. I do love my country. It may not seem I love my country. I do love my country. And I encourage all able citizens to stand up in either writing or voice to speak what you know and how you want it eradicated now. You want pure government and a pure society that has not been tainted by crooked business and crooked government. You want a pure society to raise your sons and daughters. It is that simple. My crying plea for America. Health. How many allergies do you have? How many do your children have? How many vaccines did you give your children out of the fear of media? Are they sick all the time? Do you know what chemtrails do to people? And that the U.S. government actually crop dusts certain families and groups of people to make them sick? Do you not want to believe an evil government who is sneaky as hell? I am sorry for you. It is better to go down knowing the truth and speaking the truth than to perish with a crooked government and crooked society which was created by the government. Well-being. How do you feel regularly? How many pills do you have to go on? How many pills do you have to go on to straighten out your cognitive confusion? No sleep, stress, or strain? Well, it could be very strongly influenced. It's funny, I gave this to that lawyer that time and stuff still started. Okay. I hope I don't have it out of order. Well, it should be very strongly influenced by, it could be very strongly influenced by airplane chemtrails. That's all already known. Beep-a-dee-bop-a-dee-boop. A doctor preaching and studying on such matters came up dead some years back. He knew the government was systematically removing certain people from the earth by simply poisoning them. This can be done through pills, pollution, bioweaponry, as we would call it, bad water, and polluted earth. Spiritually. How do you feel about God? Do you have any peace whatsoever? Are you angry with God for what you see? Do you blame God? Blame ourselves? Do you blame God? Blame ourselves for allowing our government in America to become this big. And we can simmer down on the shame game, because it isn't all of our fault. There's been just so many people trying to push for what is right for so long, but it's not even in our, don't do that no more. Blame the right group. It's the fuckers running the planet. And after Fauci's move, and he wasn't on death row and with the rest of them. And, I don't even know if they deserve something that dignified, quite frankly. But we don't need to get into that, because that can be taken as a threat. No, it wasn't a threat. It's not a threat. I can't drive. And I know what kind of system, like strategic planning it would take for me to even get a few of them offed. And I think a minister or something said something about, no. We're way past the time. That's not murder. That's not something evil. It's that it's in the Constitution that after it got this bad, why didn't we already do something? Do not blame God. Blame ourselves for allowing our government in America to become this big. The church is so big you could fit small cities inside of some of the cathedrals of God. Is that what God really wanted? To cut down more trees and pour more concrete out for parking space at the church when it was already filled? It's only filled twice a year. How many more churches have to close down and then have new ones rebuilt? Why is there not a law that says if you were going to start a church, you have to pay for a pre-existing church that is sitting empty? Oh, they have attendance? 10 people in a small cathedral for service? Do I sound cynical, or is it the truth? Financially, poor and more poor people stuck here unwillingly. The more financially better off are leaving American people coming here for a better life, believe the lie of a better life. Nothing from our cost of living to the cost of food to the percent of wage someone makes even adds up, or pans out, so to speak. It is all crooked and perverse because it is a lie, and it keeps people feeling bad about their self-esteem, about who they are and how they may or may not have to live. Over $16+ trillion in debt. Need I state more? Trillions of dollars, that is more than a small room of $100 bills stacked in little rows. Do you think we can just blame the citizens or pour that burden on the working class men's shoulders? Well, that is what your government has done for you. Pour the heaping disasters upon the poor working man's shoulders by raising the cost of living, making food and necessities a burden to purchase, a financial burden, a financial stress. Do not think for one moment that the government cares about you as a person or the well-being of you and your small family or big family. And I hope that that's finally clicking. After 10 years, this was wrote. We are backwards at best, relying more on our cell phones for interaction than our own families. People are numbing out at alarming rates and have no care for others' hardships, or very rare occasions do you truly see this anymore. Everyone is skeptical of many things because the government has perpetuated this type of thinking. Is she tripping over her lips? How much you want to bet I'll lose because it's taking too much? And there is a limit on the... Oh, no. Well, you know, maybe if you had to just stayed on track and read too fast, you can't understand it to begin with. Socially, we are backwards at best. Okay, that's the part. Everyone is skeptical of many things because the government has perpetuated this type of thinking by not properly taking care of matters and its people. I do not know what it takes to knock down a too big for their britches government, but it better happen soon. Because we are not even into the thicket of what it will be soon. Worse and way worse. Socially, we are isolated at best in our own mirage of stresses of just being an American anymore. Politically, too much politics, and they all lie and sleep together, I guess. From what I can see of over 30 years, if you're still voting bipartisan tickets, we will never escape our bipolar government. I do not want to leave my country as this is where my son desires to stay. I want change and I want it now. I think this should have been our mantra as a people. When I mean change, I mean politicians taking their rightful position, not so high up, not paid so much. No more swinging us from Democratic to Republican. How can this keep working? Most of us are already on some kind of pill for mood swings. How can you take a nation and put them in a more liberal sense of the world agenda and then swing them back to conservative style government? Obviously, the people do not want any more conservative agendas, and I surely agree on this term. But letting everything under the moon slip through the cracks of society is ludicrous, with politics upon policies and bills to cover more government cover more government takeover. When this was wrote 10 years ago, if you were liberal, it was kind of like a mix of like libertarian and something. I mean, it was already starting to go a little bit too. And so I was already in the libertarian part. I was just trying to say, I don't know. Well, we know what it is. In closing, please stand up for what you believe in for America if this is where you have to live. If you do not know what you should stand up for, find out quickly. The next 10 years could be the worst time of America's life and our own if we do not stand up for what we believe in. Please hear my crying plea for America. Stand up for what you believe in quickly. If we just keep doing our same routine and allowing more policies and agendas through the door by politicians, we could very well be looking close to communist nation soon in a different sense of the word. When everywhere I go or have been for help and or guidance, a therapist, a minister, a mentor, there seems to be this huge wave of Buddhism permeating all infrastructures in America. Does anyone know what happened to the original Buddhist nation? So we will call it. Stand up for what you believe in with your voice. It will be heard, and then maybe someone else will hear your voice, and they can get their voice back. Oh, I cry out to you, oh God, that perversions and such will not be removed. That perversions and such will be removed from this earth, but that oh, I cry out to you, O God, that perversions and such will be removed from this earth, that simply people will get their voice back about what really matters. And meaning like, yes, perversion's great, but we need our voice back too. That's a weird cut there. Their voice back about, I think what it was is I was meaning like most of those people are so far gone in whatever they're doing. We at least need to get our voice back and get the Constitution, at least in some kind of order here. I don't want to say it's too late. It's never too late, right? It's never too late with God. To pray to get their voice back about what really matters and how they want their America ran. What happened to a government for the people by the people? Oh, Mother Earth, I give my crying pleas to you. I am sorry for what has happened to you and all the industrialization and pollution. I am sorry no one cared that runs a world, that we selfishly raped your lands and were told to take care of you by God. I am sorry we do what we're supposed to. I'm sorry we did not do what we were supposed to do. That the church does not even care and says things like, well, Satan will destroy the earth, so we just stand by and accept the whole agenda. Oh, what was the one I heard? Oh, that's how it was supposed to play out. God didn't care. We're not supposed to worship the earth. Oh, no, we are. We're not supposed to worship it, but definitely take care of it. Our Mother Earth, I pray you find renewed. See, I was still in this more. And it's not that it's horrible. Oh, Mother Earth, I pray, but I don't pray to that anymore. I keep it to Creator God because I just simply don't know, like, the deal, and I'm not going to keep floating around. Oh, Mother Earth, I pray that you find renewed strength soon to ward off any further industrialization upon your bones. Now they want more and want to dig deeper into your bones to find more resources to burn up on the surface and pollute your air and water even more. I sometimes think I cannot cry no more to watch this for 35 years, and that they have been raping you even longer than that. Oh, I cry out to you, God, and please help me be more conscious of my decisions and the things I participate in to glorify you, and know I want to change my ways and be a vessel of light for you. Please know me and my brothers and sisters. Please show me and my... I'm so sorry. Please show me and my brothers and sisters how to do so and to get our voice back and say, no more pollution, no more glorifying Hollywood, no more glorifying what we want quickly, but that we ask for forgiveness for what we have allowed to happen to your earth, God, the Creator. Please, God, we need help to renew our American society. Oh, God, my crying plea for America. In love, amen. Fire spirit, fire moss spirit warrior. It's okay. It's okay. I could do better, but it's all right. There it is. And, I'm not going to do anything more. I would say some stuff, but we're just going to, it wouldn't be an uplift. So we're going to stop there. And I can't believe it let me record. I'm probably going to put the fruitcake show back on that I did last night, but mentioning the one relatives again, and I need to stay away from that. And honestly, I had 4 years to get this show to make some sort of sense. Just some sort of semblance of something, not quite this. This was definitely not what I was going for. And those shows, like last night, it's like it literally puts you in like an uncomfortable, I think, would you call it like an uncomfortable space? And it's like, it's so silly that it's not even comfortable, or is that just me? John liked it, but the thing is, I think I'm going to fire him as my talent manager, my talent agent, or whatever we would call this. Because he just loves me. He just loves me. And so as long as my clothes are on and it doesn't get too, like, something too naughty, it just says it's fun. And so I officially fired him. I mean, he wasn't getting paid. I mean, oh my Lord. I'm just making a joke and it won't be understood. He said he didn't know how to be a good manager and that he thinks what I do is fun. If he's having a bad moment at work, he gives him a pep up. But see, he's biased, okay? You can't have a talent manager that has bias. It's counterproductive. They have to be able to observe the situation, their client per se, as a objective of what is our best money-making move here? What is the best approach with this? Approach it with. And so far, the several stations knocked down and bring back up, I didn't get any more calmer. I started more professional and bored myself to death than whatever this is going on. Once I started to cut loose and I saw that this thing around us had been being planned, where these people, well, they want us 6 feet under, I just cut loose. Especially during the shutdown. That's when I busted my vocal cords. Shame on me. Because you only get one set of vocal cords. You know, Heather? Did you know that? Firemouth Spirit Warrior, Moon Dirt, Lily, Carol, Emily Russell, kind of an author, Emily Russell, with an I-E at the end of Emily, double S, 2 L's. I could maybe remember some of my other pen names. Not right now, though. There's been a few. I love you. Have a good one.